Welcome to Cradle to Golden Years. I'm Dr. John M. Thompson, Director of the Aging and Youth Services Department. The mission of Aging and Youth Services is to improve the quality of life of children, youth, and seniors through the development and coordination of programs and advocacy that achieve self-sufficiency, sustainability, and civic engagement. Recently, the Aging and Youth Services Department celebrated Older Americans Month. On today's show, we will highlight some of the events from that month and highlight some of the services and programming that Fulton County offer to our older adults. Later in the show, we will talk with one of the department's corporate partners, Juma Ventures, on how they are working with Fulton County's My Brother's Keeper initiative to provide youth across the county with summer employment and teach them the principles of financial management. So stay tuned, we will be right back. Welcome back. Older Americans Month is an annual event dating back to 1963, when President John F. Kennedy designated May as Senior Citizens Month. It was later renamed Older Americans Month, honoring older Americans and celebrating their contributions to our communities and our nation. Led by the Administration for Community Living, the annual observance offers communities across the country the opportunity to learn about, support, and celebrate our nation's older citizens. The 2016 theme, Blaze a Trail, emphasizes the ways older adults are reinventing themselves through new work and new passions, engaging their communities, and blazing a trail of positive impact on the lives of people of all ages. Fulton County celebrated the month with several events, including 4 special events known as Community Days at each of the Fulton County senior multipurpose facilities. Community Days provided a glimpse of what goes on in Fulton County senior multipurpose facilities throughout the year to emphasize wellness, creativity, and community support for the lifelong contributions made by seniors to their communities. Joining me to talk more about Older Americans Month and the services Fulton County offered to our older adults is Ken Van Hoos, Interim Division Manager for the Office of Aging, and Andre Gregory, Interim Program Manager for the Office of Aging. Older Americans was a lot of fun. What are some of your favorite activities for the month, Ken?
Well, of course, the community days were great because they give the community an opportunity to see what we do on a day-to-day basis. Another event that I really liked was towards the end of the month. It was the Line Dance Jamboree, where seniors from all the facilities came to the Darnell facility on a Saturday. The instructors also came out and taught the seniors new dances.
Wow.
And so they were up and down, dancing all afternoon.
So these are our active seniors. These are not the
Absolutely.
seniors normally on a walker or a cane. These are active seniors.
Right. It's our active seniors in the multipurpose program.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Andre, so what are some of the highlights in terms of our Older Americans Month celebration? What are some highlights for you?
The highlight for me would be our art programs.
Okay.
In our facilities, we have a large art program, from clay art to jewelry to oil painting. And so each of our facilities will display our arts for Evening of the Arts events and show the community what we produce in our art classes.
Awesome.
And we normally have awards, first, second, third, best of show. So it's been a really great evening.
Great. And I want to thank both of you all for hosting such fabulous events, especially the community day events on Saturdays. Had a chance to go to some of those, and my wife and my 2 little ones went with me, and they had a blast. And so thank you so much for opening that up to the community so that the public can see what we do, and so an opportunity of bringing more seniors to our centers. And with that being said, Ken, can you give me an overview of the programming that we provide for seniors across the county? What are some of the high-level programs to meet the needs? And we know that seniors are living longer. Seniors are trying to stay out of nursing homes, institutional settings. The federal government has moved to really rebalancing long-term services and supports in this country. And what that simply means is we want to keep people in their homes for as long as possible. I'm not worried about it as a public servant from the perspective of trying to save Medicaid. I'm not worried about it from the perspective of trying to save local dollars. For me, it's a humanistic thing to do. Having someone to remain at home in their familiar surrounding for as long as possible. So what are we doing to support those seniors and their families so that they can be in their homes for as long as possible?
Okay. Well, we kind of have two main ways that we provide services. One is in a group setting, and that's our multipurpose facilities, neighborhood senior centers, and adult day programs. Then we also have individual services, which would be home delivered meals, transportation services, in-home services, which we assist seniors with their housekeeping chores, personal care, which would be grooming, bathing, helping them to transfer, and also in-home respite that provides a service to the caregiver so they can get out of the house and do their grocery shopping, do their banking, or sometimes they just need to get away and get a break from the stresses of caregiving.
Awesome. So give me a little bit more information in terms of our, not necessarily institutions, but the centers that seniors are able to come to, more specifically around Adult Day. Can you tell me a little bit about Adult Day? Is this a unique program for the county, and do other counties have this Adult Day program as we do here in Fulton County?
Fulton County in the Atlanta area is the only county that provides an adult daycare program. The adult daycare program really serves the senior that comes to the program, but it also serves the caregiver. Most of our caregivers are still in the workforce,
yes.
But they have a senior that lives with them that needs supervision throughout the day. So this allows them the opportunity to leave their loved one in a loving, caring environment that's safe, and they can continue to stay in the workforce.
Awesome, awesome. And so as I focus on that senior who is not necessarily independent and they need that additional care, they can come to the adult day facility.
Absolutely.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, Andre, we have the senior multi-purpose facilities for those seniors who are really active, the younger seniors, as some of them call themselves, or the junior seniors. Can you tell me about some of the programming that we have for seniors at the multi-purpose facilities?
Well, some of the programs we have is not like the senior centers from back in the day. It's a new and innovative kind of concept. We run it like college campus, so we'll have land classes for land aerobics, tai chi, yoga. We'll have painting classes, life enrichment classes, where they'll have art, clay, painting, oil. We'll have computer classes, which is great because it's allowing us to reintroduce our seniors to the electronic world and softwares that are out there. And we also have various groups and traveling groups in our facility. So every quarter we have a registration, just like a college campus, and we get our individuals in their classes.
Awesome. Now, what are some of the most popular programs for seniors at the multi-purpose facilities?
The most popular would be those programs in our pools.
Okay.
Our pools are really popular. Our pools have a very interesting mix where it's very gentle on your skin and very gentle on your eyes and nose. Also, a big draw is our computer classes. They love to get in there and work on the computers and feel safe doing it. Our computer classes are run by volunteers who are seniors themselves, so they kind of know how to work with their peers. So it's a great situation. The last area would be definitely our food nutrition services. They really enjoy those, our breakfast and lunch that we serve.
Awesome. And the centers are open how many days a week?
We're open actually 5.5 days a week.
Okay.
We're open from Monday through Friday, normally from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. And Ken, so we had a chance to talk about adult day facilities and a chance to talk about the senior multi-purpose facilities. Mm-hmm. Now I want to talk about those neighborhood senior centers. What are they, and how many do we have across the county?
Okay, we've got 15 neighborhood senior centers stretching from Milton all the way down to Palmetto.
Okay.
At the neighborhood senior center, we offer some of the same type activities that go on at the multipurpose, but it's a much smaller group. The seniors that come to the neighborhood senior centers usually need some type of assistance, throughout the day. They may need some assistance getting back and forth to the center. Okay. Rather than operating on a college campus type situation where several classes are going on at the same time at multipurpose, the neighborhood senior center tends to do everything as a large group. Okay. The staff is much smaller, and so the large group setting is necessary in order to supervise everybody that's at the facility.
Awesome.
Also, there's a lunch served at the neighborhood senior centers every day, so they're open 5 days a week. From about 9 to 4.
I appreciate the information from both of you all. Now, Ken, if you can expound on how is the Office of Aging connecting to the Aging and Youth Services Department overall strategic plan, if you can talk about that a little bit.
Okay, we're working and talking with some of our partners about the possibility of expanding our neighborhood center program, actually through what's called collaborative centers. These would be places where seniors naturally gather, and it may be a recreation center or something like that, and they have a volunteer type program where volunteers manage the program, and we're reaching out to them to see what assistance they may need from us, whether we can send instructors out to assist them or offer some of the other programming that we do in our neighborhood centers.
Awesome. Awesome. We'll give the phone numbers, and so seniors and caregivers can contact us later on at the end of the show if they want to access these services. But I want to thank you all so much. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. I see our seniors are keeping busy. And I just like our seniors, young people throughout Fulton County want to keep busy and be productive this summer. When we return, we will show how Fulton County is partnering with a private company to provide our youth with employment opportunities to help them stay active during the summer months. Welcome back to Cradle to Golden Years. Again, I am Dr. John M. Thompson, Director of Fulton County's Aging and Youth Services Department. One of the key strategic priorities of the Aging and Youth Services Cradle to Golden Years 5-year strategic plan is to create and strengthen partnerships to implement innovative practices, and my next guests are doing just that. My Brother's Keeper Fulton County is a collaborative partnership consisting of law enforcement, nonprofit organizations, schools, institutions of higher education, and men's organizations to address gaps for youth by utilizing best practices and strategies, thereby strengthening communities. My Brother's Keeper is designed to initiate a process that prevents our young men of color from making poor decisions that will lead them down a road towards self-destruction. Juma Venture strives to break the cycle of poverty by paving the way to work, education, and financial capability for youth across America. The two have come together to create a partnership to provide summer employment opportunities for young people throughout Fulton County. Joining me today to talk more about the initiative is Robert Lewis Jr., Program Coordinator for My Brother's Keeper Fulton County, and Frank Cobbs, Assistant Enterprise Manager for Juma Ventures. Robert, so what is My Brother's Keeper Fulton County, and how can people get involved?
My Brother's Keeper Fulton County is an initiative that President Obama signed into order on February 27, 2014. The main premise is to provide different intervention services for young people, specifically boys and young men of color, to offset some of these issues so they can reach their full potential. Right now, there are a total of 250 different localities and tribal nations throughout the nation that have implemented My Brother's Keeper initiative that President Obama initiated. The way to get involved, it's varied, and we do have a task force that consists of 120 different organizations and businesses and about 250 individuals that are like-minded in offsetting these issues.
Okay, I know that we have a lot of organizations involved, but how many of them are truly working? Don't want to put you on the spot, but I just want to understand how many of them are truly working and what are they doing so that we can advance this agenda of My Brother's Keeper Fulton County.
And that's really that 80-20 rule.
Okay.
With Fulton County, it's about 20% of individuals that are really, really focused on advancing this movement to assist boys and young men of color. And the ways that they're getting involved, one is a training and employment pieces, which is one of our pillars, where individuals actually assist us in helping these young people obtain jobs.
Okay.
And within that, one of our great partners would be a Crim High School, a Regions Bank,
Okay.
As well as Fulton County different departments to prepare these young people with best practices in interviewing, as well as job etiquette, and in work ethic. And then we're also in the mentor leadership role.
Okay, awesome. And I want to go to Frank, transition to Frank just for one moment because you mentioned employment. And so, Frank, I want you to talk about your experience. How did you become involved with My Brother's Keeper Fulton County, and how did you get an opportunity of working with Juma?
Well, to be honest, it all started, my mom was like, you should go, like, because I didn't have a job at first. It was like a summer. I was taking the semester off from college. So my mom was like, I heard this thing about Fulton County with the sheriff, the commissioner, and she was like, you should go downtown, go apply for the job. So I went down, I applied. To be honest, when I was thinking, I was just like, it may be a normal concessions job because, they talked about Turner Field, the things that we did. And then, Robert, he gave the whole spiel about everything that they did at Turner Field, everything that my brother's keeper did. But as the more I worked throughout Turner Field, I kind of got more involved because I tried, as I go and work, like I try and work and be the best worker in the room, the hardest worker in the room. And so as I started working more, I got more involved on like the backside of Juma and like the management side. And through that management side, that's how I got more introduced through my brother's keeper. Wow. And then I started participating more with Robert, and that's how I got into more of the my brother's keeper aspect of things.
Awesome. So what does a typical day at Turner Field look like for a young person working there? What does it look like?
Typical day, I would say usually the games are about 7:30. Arrive at 3, 4 o'clock. Once you get there, you sign in, set up, and you just report to your stand. Now, Juma, there's multiple nonprofits, different organizations there, but as for Juma, we run all the pizza stands, the Peachtree Pizzas at Turner Field. So we'll go there, we'll set up all the ingredients, make sure the stand's clean, whatever needs to be done. And then after that, we really just wait until the gates open because the gates open about an hour before the actual game starts. So as the people start coming in, we start getting the orders ready, start making pizzas, and from then on, we work from about that time until about maybe an hour, 2 hours after the game is over, and then we start.
It's cleaning up, right?
Yeah, cleaning up, setting up, stuff like that.
How long is the training?
The training, usually the training is about an hour, 2 hours on the off days of because there's a homestand, and after the homestand, which would be like some days it's 8, sometimes it's 8 games, sometimes it's 11 games. After the homestand is over, then that's when we'll have the training on the off days.
I see. Awesome, great. And so how many youth were we able to hire with our partnership with Juma Ventures and other partnerships with private organizations? So, Robert, how many youth were we able to hire this summer?
And prior to me answering that, I will be remiss if I didn't say that that My Brother's Keeper Fulton County the challenge was accepted by Chairman John H. Eves and Commissioner Joan P. Garner of District 4. So that's how My Brother's Keeper actually came to Fulton County. And I'm glad to say that right now through Juma Ventures, over 185 people are currently hired and working at Juma, and they have an orientation right now, I believe, with about 3 or 4 individuals at 137 Peachtree Street. And then we're also working with a program that the president launched called LinkedIn for Good Summer Employment Program. This is basically geared for individuals ages 14 to 24 and provides small to medium business sizes owners to hire these young people. Right now we have 1 person that's actually hired as an HR assistant and 5 that are pending as a event planner and then administrative roles. So not just a summer job. One of the individuals actually is interested in hiring this person full time, and they've only been there a week.
Wow. Now, when we talk about these youth, are they all high school students, or are there any college? I understand that Frank is a college student. How many college students make up this total universe of folks that were able to get jobs this summer?
And that's a great question. The age range is 16 to 21 years old here in the Atlanta market. About 20% right now are the 16 to 17-year-olds, and then the 18 to 21-year-olds will make up the remaining percentage of individuals that are hired. And they're termed opportunity youth, which are just individuals that are disengaged, that have had some different challenges as they go throughout their educational system.
Perfect. Robert, can you explain how the work that you're doing with My Brother's Keeper Fulton County aligns with the Cradle to Career work that we're doing agency-wide?
The My Brother's Keeper Task Force or National Alliance is very much, it mirrors the strategic plan of Cradle to Golden Years or Cradle to Career. And it's basically involving preparing the young people for kindergarten, as well as preparing them to read at grade level by 3rd grade, graduating high school, entering into the post-secondary or college or trade, actually having employment. In the 3rd or the 6th pillar is reducing violence and giving young people a second chance. But the first 5 are in direct concert with the 5 pillars of My Brother's Keeper National Alliance.
Awesome. Frank, how has this experience impacted your life?
Well, to be honest, when I first started, I was just expecting somewhat of like a summer into school jobs so I could work with. But the more I got involved and the higher I moved up, it just really gave me the experience I needed, because at first I was intimidated because I applied to be a stand manager and I'd never been a manager before. Okay. So I'd seen what my previous managers had done and I tried to base my experience off that, but really it was just learning off the fly, just trying to learn as much as I could. And as I really did, I gained insightful experience like working through the management at Turner Field. But then when I came downtown, started working with Robert through My Brother's Keeper, started working with Candace with Juma, I just started gaining just lifelong experience I could take with me wherever I go, whether it be managerial experience or just leadership skills. So.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I tell you, I am a student of good leadership and good management, from on-the-job training to pursuing education and PhD in healthcare administration. So leadership and management is my background. But I see how a program like this, starting our community at an early age, our youth at an early age, and being able to give them that hands-on experience. And as I see with you, Frank, this is our second or third encounter, and I'm very impressed with your communication skills and the way you were able to talk to some of the youth at a high school recently with some of the representatives from the White House. And so I'm very impressed with you. And so just being able to develop those lifelong skills, and we're talking about initiative, and we're talking about responsibility, and we're talking about getting to work on time, right? Talking about being able to be honest and having integrity and all the assets, all the traits that we expect in a good leader and a good manager. And so, Frank, I want to thank you so much. And so, Robert, what are next steps with our partnership with Juma and with other stakeholders in the community or around the nation?
Well, with our next steps with Juma particularly is a mentoring leadership piece. As Frank said, he didn't know, unbeknownst to him, when he first came for the interview, we already pegged him to be hired, because of his demeanor, because of his attire, and even dressing the part. And he is one of two enterprise assistant managers in the entire Georgia region, as this is Juma's first venture in this market. Amazing. So our goal is now with our task force members is basically to connect with some of the individuals or opportunity youth that are on the cusp of not keeping employment.
I see.
So it's connecting them with mentors to really talk to them about work ethic, calling off, and just actually knowing the difference between having a job and working. Good. On the national level, we just came back from a My Brother's Keeper Community Challenge. We were selected as one of 20 different communities as being the tip of the spear, or some of the using best practices with My Brother's Keeper. And we really spoke about challenges as well as opportunities to get better, and our successes while we were there. And even with My Brother's Keeper Alliance, which is a fundraising team, they're interested in hopefully funding Fulton County's My Brother's Keeper.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Robert and Frank, for joining us today. It's been very insightful, and I'm sure that our audience out there had a chance to gain some golden nuggets from the both of you in the conversation we had. We'll be right back with closing thoughts. Today we were able to highlight some of the greatest moments from Older Americans Month. You got to experience firsthand what happens at our multi-purpose senior facilities and how we work to address the health and social needs of Fulton County Golden residents. I encourage you to come by and visit one of our centers. I would also like to thank our partners, Juma Venture. Summer is a critical time for young people, and it is through partnerships like Juma and My Brother's Keeper that we are able to increase program capacity to help us effectively address the needs of our youth. For more information about these programs and our department, please contact us at 404-612-9558 or email us at agingandyouth@fultoncountyga.gov. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Cradle to Golden Years.